Adobe Photoshop comes with default preferences settings sufficient for most experienced users. In this section, I will explain the most important preferences options. From the Edit menu, choose Preferences and General. The Preferences dialog box appears with the program default settings. The top pull-down list will allow you to choose the category of the preferences you may want to edit. I will start setting the General Preferences options. The Color Picker field will allow you to choose between the Adobe Color Picker and the Windows Color Picker. The Interpolation pop-up field displays the following: nearest neighbor, bilinear, and bicubic. The Redo key offers the choice of Redo or Undo toggle key, Ctrl-Shift-Z, Ctrl-Z, or the Ctrl-Y key. The History States field allows you to set the number of stages you want Photoshop to memorize for the Undo command. Please keep in mind that setting this number to a higher value will result in consuming more memory or RAM as well as disk space. The Options sub-menu will allow you to check or uncheck the following options. Export Clipboard. With this option on, you can export Photoshop memory to the clipboard after quitting the application. Unchecking this option may speed up quitting Photoshop. Short Pantone names. Show Tools tips. Checking this option will show the tool name when holding the mouse over a certain tool. Keyboard zoom resizes windows. Auto-update open documents. Show Asian text options. Beep when done. Dynamic color sliders. Save palette locations. Checking this option will allow Photoshop to retain the last position of the moved palettes in the next launch. Show font names in English. Use Shift key for tool switch. The Reset All warning dialog. And the Reset All tools. Clicking this option will allow you to reset all the tools with associated options to the program default values. Clicking on the next button will display the Savings Files Preferences options. Image Previews pop-up offers the sub-options Never Save, Always Save, or Ask when saving. Append File Extension. The File Compatibility sub-menu will allow you to check or uncheck the following options. Maximize backwards compatibility in Photoshop format. Checking this option will allow you to save files in a format readable for older versions of Adobe Photoshop. Enable advanced TIFF save options. And the Recent File List Contains will allow you to set the number of previously opened files to be displayed in the Open Recent command from the File menu. Clicking on the next button will display the Display and Cursor Preferences option. The Display sub-menu will allow you to check or uncheck the following options. Color channels in color. Checking this option will allow you to view color channels in the corresponding colors. For example, the red channel in red color, and so on. Use diffusion dither. Use pixel doubling. The Painting Cursor sub-menu will allow you to display painting cursor in standard, precise, or brush size modes. The Other Cursor sub-menu will allow you to display other cursors in the standard or precise modes. Clicking on the next button will display the Transparency and Gamut Preferences options. The Transparency sub-menu will allow you to control the display of the layer transparency checkerboard settings by setting the grid size, grid color, and a checkbox for using Video Alpha. The Gamut Warning sub-menu controls the display of out-of-gamut colors by setting the color and opacity percentage. Clicking on the next button will display the Units and Rulers Preferences option. In the Units submenu, you can set the ruler's units in pixels, inches, centimeters, points, pikas, or percents. The Type pop-up field displays the type units available in pixels, points, or millimeters. In the Column Size submenu, you can set the column width and gutter in inches, centimeters, points, or pikas. In the point or pika size option, you can choose between PostScript or the traditional settings. Clicking on the next button will display the Guides and Grid Preferences option. In the Guides, you can choose the guide's color and style options. In the grid settings, you can choose the color, style, grid line frequency, and subdivision attributes. Clicking on the next button will display the plugin and scratch disks preferences options. You can assign an additional plugin directory if you have more than one plugin folder. Scratch disk is the hard drive free space Photoshop uses to write the temporary file information while editing and processing an image. I recommend that you assign the fastest and the biggest free hard drive as your first scratch disk. You can assign up to 4 scratch disks in any specific order. If the first disk gets full during processing an image, Photoshop will use the next disk free space automatically. Clicking on the next button will display the memory and image cache preferences options. Advanced Photoshop users can set the cache and physical memory usage. The new modified setting will take effect the next time you start Photoshop.